the hardest lesson for me to learn is that you can never love somebody more than you love yourself.
That's good. Y'all can't against the girls in the cheat seats, so they didn't hear that. They get the, tax season coming up.
It's totally okay to, you know what?
Hey beautiful people, it's Success Mentor Dante J. Worth, and I'm back with another video right here on Audacious Believer TV! Woo! Now, if this is your first time tuning in, I need you to make sure that subscribe button down below. Make sure that you like this video. And make sure that you are commenting down below. Me and my team absolutely love to read your comments. Now tonight, we're being joined by the beautiful, the fabulous, the one, the only. Tell them who you are, darling.
Sharitta F. Gross Smith.
So we invited Sharitta here this tonight to talk about staying motivated. I almost forgot just that quick, sis. Staying motivated. But before we talk about that, we're gonna ask you the same question we ask every single guest. Okay. What is your story?
Oh goodness, which part?
Oh girl, the part's the PG-13. I got her watching out here. Which part?
No, I mean there's a professional part. There's
whatever
a personal
story
part.
comes to your mind, honey.
I would say I would talk about probably the personal part, and the part that involves my grandmother because she was right underneath God to me.
Shondo.
So, yes. Growing up in 19th Ward, single parent household, and my grandmother over and over again, quoting the scripture about, not leaning onto your own understanding and trusting the Lord.
Yes. That's Bible.
Yes, and so. And looking at what statistics say about where we're supposed to be and where we end up. And so here we are, graduating. This is going to be the 4th degree, so I'll have my doctorate, God willing, in February.
Come on! This is like 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th one. I'm just going to be a doctor in a couple, it's a nothing. This is light work for me. That's good.
Even though it's just one of those things where when you have somebody that believes in you so strongly.
Yes.
And they pour into you. And my grandmother stopped school around 8th grade, but she was one of the smartest persons I'd ever met.
Wow.
Like, don't you shortchange her on her money. She can look at me like, that's not right.
Real quick.
And even though I lost her in 2014, she's still with me very much so. So that part of my journey is really important because to me, part of staying motivated is knowing your why. And she helped to cultivate my why.
Oh, that's really good. Cultivating your why. So for you right now, you're in position at RIT where you work in the what's the word? It's a long word.
The Multicultural Center for Academic Success.
Let me find you were speaking in tongues just now, y'all. But anyway, that sounds good. So how long
Coming in the shop.
Yeah, the shando. So how long have you been doing that? And what does that do for you?
I actually been at RIT for 10 years.
Wow.
But I've been in this role for about 3.
Okay.
This particular position is rewarding on so many levels because you legitimately have a front row seat on the life of young people.
Yes.
And you can't, you can really pick who you let mentor you or who you allow into your life. And so the fact that students choose to come into your office and sit with you and divulge what things they might be going through or share their triumphs with you is really awesome.
Yes.
But in this role, I do a lot of coaching one-on-one with students, and sometimes that involves, academic strategies like better time management, resolving issues that they might have that are adverse with a faculty member.
Yes.
But it also could just be something like light mentoring and just having somebody to be that touch point. As one of the students that I'm currently mentoring calls me her school mom.
Oh, hey, mommy!
But it's an honor because they, you can't pick your family, but
right.
you can pick other folk, right? And so it's
owe me some coin. I'm playing.
But it's a very rewarding opportunity because students talk about how much they get from you in these types of roles. But I also learn from them, and part of my why also is my students.
Yes.
Because a lot of them are aware that I'm getting my doctorate, so they hold me accountable.
That's good.
And it's funny because one time, folk who are in any kind of program, whether it's master's or otherwise, I thought about quitting.
Really?
Oh yes.
Honey.
Oh yes.
But she's not a quitter though. We don't quit. What happens?
Not in the DNA. Not in the DNA. But it's exhausting. It's a labor of love. It's very intense, and you immerse yourself, and it's almost like you get baptized in the dissertation research.
Come on, baptism.
That's
good.
However, there was a young man who came to my door one day, and I was just about to re-enter my program. I'd taken a leave of absence at one point, and that's another story. And so the short of the long was, he said, so how's your program going? And in that moment, I was debating not going back. Because I was like, you know, I'm kind of smart. I don't need this ish. I don't need to go back. And I was like, wait a minute. How many of you are there? How many people of color are at the table? And whatever it is that you have, the world needs that, even just that little bit.
That's good.
So who are you to deny these young people what you might have by quitting because you tired?
That's good. That's good. I think. So
I was like, you know, this young man is asking me from last summer when I talked to them during our summer program. We have something called the DDI Summer Experience, where for 4 weeks students get to come with us and take classes and be immersed in the RIT culture. And so that student coming to me that day reminded me of why it's important to honor your word and to honor your why. So I was like, great, now I can't quit.
It's like, I'm gonna stay here and secure the bag. It's okay, but I'm also changing the world. Okay. That's good. That is so awesome. I believe it was Maya Angelou who said, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. So as you're sitting at that table, you're representing more than just you, honey. It's your lineage, honey. That's good. For that young person who's out there right now, they're looking at your story and they said, she has a PhD. How do I get to where you are? What advice do you have for them?
I would say to, it's very situational because it depends on who and where you are. But again, I keep going back to knowing what your why is. Yeah. Because in the still of the evening or the day when your friends go on to brunch and they get unlimited mimosas.
Unlimited mimosas. Is there?
But seriously, when you're missing out or you think you're missing out on certain things in life, and that why is what will remind you this is a finite period of time in my life for infinite benefit.
Kind of quick in when you said that. It's temporary.
So it's really temporary, but the outcome is so permanent. So I think for any young person who's looking to further their education or go into an area of life that's different, if they're the first, like I was, don't be afraid to be the first.
That's good.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's good.
Because life is not a one woman or one man show. Part of what has helped me to stay motivated is having a crew. You got to be selective with your crew.
That's true.
You have to have some persons who are flying above you.
That don't have any records or any warrants for their arrest.
True, but that helps.
Yes.
That is definitely helpful. But truly, people that can pour into you, that you can use as a sounding board, and that you can ask questions and not feel less than, and that really want the absolute best for you. So I mentioned earlier one of my best friends, Dr. Leslie Myers, being part of my crew and being so
we love you
so much. But being part of my crew, and I talked her ear off for like 2 years before I got my doctoral degree, or started the program, excuse me. I guess I'm speaking it into existence.
This is speaking those things that are not as though they were.
But, you know, just having her as a sounding board and her patiently saying, why don't you just go for it?
Wow.
You know, or why don't you just, you know, think about it from this perspective? And then as, you know, time has gone on, I've just accumulated different mentors. And so I think for another young person who might be feeling like, okay, I'm the first, who do I talk to? If there's nobody in my family, fill in the blank. Find a mentor. Find several. You know, because no one person can help you with everything. But you have to find a mentor, not somebody that you just simply admire. Somebody that's going to charge you with thinking critically. And somebody who's going to hold you accountable, and someone who is who has some things that you might aspire to, because they can actually kind of help shepherd you and connect you to resources.
That's good.
So admiration alone is not enough for somebody to be your mentor.
Yeah, that's good. Take action. Take action. As a woman, and a woman of color, and a woman who is just a boss, like you are just a boss. Hey, how do you feel being in that position? Is it humbling? How does it feel to be someone who is just making it daily and doing in the grind of it all?
I don't know if I've made it yet, but I accept and receive that blessing of a title. But I can tell you that where I am currently feels phenomenal. Again, when you look at statistically where persons who come from a background such as mine, you know, the single parent household and other factors that might have played into the way that I grew up, is phenomenal by God's design. And so I'm very grateful.
That's good.
For the opportunities that I've been afforded by way of people that have been placed in my path, several teachers from School of the Arts, counselors, and then other friends that are peers, but also have been mentors and continue to be mentors to me. It's a blessing. That's what it feels like.
That's good. She's blessed, y'all. That's the Clark Sisters reference. Some of y'all don't get it. OMG. So you are just becoming, in the state of becoming. I think Michelle Obama, I'm reading her book right now. I love her. Hey Michelle, call me girl. And she's always talking about always being in a state of becoming. In this season, in this time, who have you aspired to become? Who are you becoming in this season?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
I know.
I am aspiring to become a change agent. I am striving to become my best self. And within that, loving myself more than certain circumstances. And I'm also striving to continue to think outside the box.
Yes.
Because I'm actually what I call a selective extrovert.
Me too! I'm either introverted, extrovert, or I just like...
Since when?
I mean, for real though, sometimes.
Oh, Lord have mercy. But no, I mean, I am an introvert, and I'm the kind of person, like, I come out, help people, and go back in. And so I continuously try to just think outside the box and do things that are going to challenge me, things that I typically may not think about doing, like this video.
Yeah. She's here with little old me on Audacious Believer TV. Hi. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, girl.
Sis.
He ain't it.
Ooh, don't y'all go looking for he. Don't be he ain't the one.
Or the two. So I think
the tea is bubbling, honey. Bro, go ahead.
But I think that what I would tell myself is be patient with you. The same patience and love you give to everybody else, give yourself some.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's tweetable.
And don't be scared.
Don't be scared, sis.
Don't be scared.
Yes.
Just go ahead and handle it. Just jump in.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have a life jacket. You better get you a towel or something, wrap it around you, and just jump in that pool feet first.
Faith it until you make it, sis.
Yes. But I think it's very important to that love and that patience that we sometimes give to other people, to give it to ourselves. I would have told my younger self that, and I would have told my younger self also to not be afraid to just be different. Because sometimes in high school you want to belong. You want to be with the cool kids. Cool
kids on that list. You want to be on this list,
Yes, I was a little bit of a nerd, and so I was like, well, everybody else is really cool and they're going to like house parties. My grandma was like, you ain't going. You coming to the house of Jesus. You're not going to nobody's house party.
Jesus got her 4 degrees though. Hey, Jesus. Okay. Are you ready for rapid fire questions?
I cannot. Yeah.
Favorite book?
Oh goodness, Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston.
Oh my gosh, I gotta get that book. I just somebody told me about that. Okay. Favorite musical?
Oh goodness, I would probably have to say The Color Purple.
Oh my. Okay. All right. What has been the hardest lesson for you to learn that took you the longest to learn?
Oh boy. I can only choose one. I think the hardest lesson for me to learn is that you can never love somebody more than you love yourself.
That's good. Y'all say it again for the girls in the cheat seats because they didn't hear that. They get the, tax season coming up.
It's totally okay to, you know what?
You know the girls.
I'm going to interrupt this broadcast for a moment of prayer.
Amen.
Jesus.
Do it, Lord.
Fix it, Jesus. It's love is a beautiful thing. It truly is. But you should never sacrifice yourself to where you become a shell of a human being in order to love and prove your love to somebody else. So that's what I mean when I say don't ever love somebody else more than you love yourself.
That's good. And to be audacious means to be...
Oh, fearless.
Yes. What else? You have to work. Go ahead and let it out. What you got? Fearless, honey. To be fabulous. To be Dante. Okay. That's awesome. So tell the people how they can find you online, how they can support you.
So you can find me at sfgoce@rit.edu.
Yeah.
I'm also on LinkedIn under Sharitta F. Gross-Smith.
Yeah.
Same name on Facebook as well.
Yay! So until next time, remember that life is meant to be enjoyed and not just endured. How you doing?